Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, this literally does not work. You know, there's been so much discussion about Dak Prescott's contract, his demands, and things like that. I've been trying to at least break it down and things, but unfortunately, most of the commentators out there that most of you people believe in are giving you a whole lot of misinformation. I got to tell you, I was just watching Cal and Cowherd with Bucky Brooks on here, and he really breaks the whole thing down. Because like some people are saying, Dak wants $40 million. Actually, that's not exactly what's happened. That's the Cowboys have kind of leaked some information to try and get public opinion on their side, I believe. Personally, that's what I believe. Because now everybody is like, oh, Dak is just greedy and everything else. And this is a big risk to go ahead and do this. Now, some people will say, man, just make him finish out his rookie deal, franchise tag him. Well, here's the thing. Franchise tag him, it's the average of the top five. Currently, that's about $32.5 million. And if you franchise tag him again, that means it's 120% of that the following year, which is $38.5 million. So now you're talking about $70 million that you're paying him guaranteed. Well, the Washington Redskins tried that with Kirk Cousins, and basically what they paid as guaranteed money, they could have actually signed him to a long-term deal before. So if you're already going to put $70 million for 2 years and then just let him walk, you're getting nothing in return. So that's not exactly a wise move. On top of it, you may end up having that poison player because he's thinking, I've done everything the right way. I've played for you dirt cheap then for 4 years, and now you're going to franchise tag me? You're not going to give me the benefit of the doubt? Okay, yeah, I see how this goes. But Bucky Brooks, let's listen to Bucky Brooks, because this, when I say it, nobody cares. Maybe because it's on TV, somebody else will. So, Bucky, let's break it down.
You look at we were talking about the AFC, NFC,
Let's break it down.
The AFC's got really good rosters at the top, but by the time I get to about the fifth team, Houston, I'm like, no GM, bad O-line, never been a step-up franchise. I look at the NFC, and I can go down to what I think's the 9th best team in the NFC, or 8th, Atlanta, MVP quarterback, Super Bowl, 28-20, and I think they have really good owner, GM, coach, quarterback. This is why I say with Dak in a hard cap league.
Here we go.
The NFC feels like, to me, inches matter, details matter more. That's not to say the AFC doesn't have really good teams at the top, but in the AFC, you do get back-to-back games. You're hosting the Bills, you're hosting the Dolphins. Yeah, it feels like you should win those games. I don't feel like there's much of a bottom. It's very brief, if at all, in the NFC. So when I look at the Dak contract and I look at the Cowboys, I'm like, listen, the idea of just getting Dak done, why shouldn't they just play this thing out, franchise him next year? Why not? I mean, if
they can, but then you run the risk of the Kirk Cousins deal. So the Kirk Cousins thing. So the reason why everyone is so surprised by the numbers that are being floated out about Dak is because the Dallas Cowboys waited. They could have got this deal done in the fall. You probably could have got him at about 23, 24 million per. A lot of it is skewed because the Jimmy Garoppolo
Jimmy G screwed it up for the NFL
kind of set the market up. It kind of upset the market. Well, now Dak Prescott always has the luxury of knowing, okay, you don't want to pay me? Cool, I know this. If you franchise me, we're looking at $30 to $32 million. And if you do it again, it's 120% over top of that. So I know if I get the franchise tag, we're looking at $65, $66 million guaranteed. So the conversation starts at that point. And so when people are upset, like, I can't believe they're going to pay him $33, $34, $35 million, it has to start there because the vehicles that are in place by the CBA.
Right.
Thank you. The Dallas Cowboys have to decide and determine, what do we want to pay him? How much above Carson Wentz or that rate are we willing to go? Because we have to get them done. If you go back and look at what has happened with the Dallas Cowboys, they had to run with Tony Romo, they had to run with Troy Aikman. But I don't think anybody wants to go back to the years where they had Quincy Carter, Chad Hutchinson, Drew Henson. For all of his flaws, Dak Prescott has been a stabilizing force in that locker room. They won 2 division titles. He's won a ton of games, second most behind Tom Brady, and they are in the mix, which is what you always want. Now, they have to make a decision, not on him, because he's going to get done. They have to get him done. What do we want to do with Ezekiel Elliott? because Ezekiel Elliott is the one where they really don't have to do anything. They have 2 more years before they really have to even think about paying him. Them paying Ezekiel Elliott now will really be doing him a favor because he doesn't have any leverage. They can just play it out. He has 2 years, the option, the franchise tag, and go about their business.
If Jerry was younger, could I not make this argument, Bucky Brooks?
Come on.
Here's the best thing to do.
This thing right here, this whole idea would be basically, I'm being vengeful. I'm just being a hard ass. I mean, to even come up with this suggestion, Colin, is just ridiculous, okay? Because this is just being an SOB, basically saying, I'm going to trash my season just so I don't have to pay my quarterback. Let's listen to this.
Don't give Zeke money. Let him sit out. If Jerry was 46, not 76. Let Dak play the season without Zeke. Numbers come down.
Maybe.
Then at the end of the year, now I go to Dak and I'm like, yeah, I've seen you when you carry the team. I'll give you 27-5.
Yeah, but it still won't work.
So let me see if I got this straight, Colin Cowherd. You're saying, because we're talking about, say, 32, 33, $34 million. So you're saying to save $5 million a year, $5 or $6 million a year, go ahead and just destroy the season. Is that what we're saying, to save some money on paying the quarterback? Because at some point you got to look at this and say, it's $5 million and I have a chance maybe to go to Super Bowl. And you're saying to make sure that you don't pay the quarterback that extra $5 million a year, that you're willing to just blow up the team? Really? Why is it so bad that he would get paid when somebody like Jimmy Garoppolo or Jimmy Grabaho ended up getting paid, that Kirk Cousins ended up getting paid? We never heard any of that kind of stuff with anybody else. And this is where I talk about how it's always so different with the Dallas Cowboys. It's amazing because nobody else does these negotiations in public. We just woke up and we had Carson Wentz has a deal done. But for some reason, the Cowboys must do it in public.
Because Amari Cooper's in the building. So we saw Dak's numbers the last half of the year. Dak looked like a different quarterback when he had Amari Cooper, a legitimate number 1 receiver. We can say, unfairly, I don't know if he had a upper echelon wide receiver core. He had a declining Des Bryant. He had Cole Beasley, who's a nice third receiver, but he really didn't have high-end weapons. So now you give him a high-end weapon, he looks a little different. And yes, you can talk about he had Zeke Elliott behind him. But remember, he also played with an offensive line that has probably had a better reputation than the way they perform. Tyron Smith has been hurt. He's no longer the guy that he once was. He didn't have Travis Frederick playing at center, who's a Pro Bowl center.
And Zach Martin was on one leg.
Now he would have an opportunity where if you remove Zeke, he still has high-level players around him. I still would expect him to play at a high level. Look, he needs everything, as most quarterbacks need everything. Drew Brees needs Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas to play at a high level. 90% of the quarterbacks in this league need things around them to perform at a high level. I think you could argue there are only 2 guys that maybe can do it without others. That would be Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Those are the only ones that we've seen consistently do it without it, and maybe even Phillip Rivers, who has had to do it in the past without high-end players around him. But the rest of the league, they need everything around them to be able to be successful at quarterback.
I'm going to throw this out. Andrew Luck now has a bone injury.
All right, so thank you, Bucky Brooks. He broke it down perfectly because, see, we keep getting fed the same stuff. Well, Dak's got to have people around him. Like he's the only player in the NFL. Like he is like handicapped. He's got to have, crutches or a wheelchair and everything. He's got to have that. Everybody does. And you look around at teams that are winning. Okay, Jared Goff doesn't have people around him. He has Todd Gurley, he had Cooper Kupp. He had a great thing. You look at Carson Wentz, who's got Zach Ertz, and what everybody and all you Eagle fans will say is a better offensive line. And this whole thing is because people have in their mind that the Dallas Cowboys have the best offensive line in football. That was true in 2016, but you cannot compare the offensive line that we had in 2017 and 2018 to that offensive line in 2016. Like you said, Tyron Smith is not the same player. He's still great when he's out there, but he's not throwing guys around like he used to and just kind of standing over them. Zach Martin hurt his knee in training camp, did not finish training camp, and played all year and missed 2 games during the season. And Travis Frederick, the general out there, your center, your cornerstone piece right there, the guy that makes all the calls, was gone, and you had a rookie in Connor Williams who was undersized starting in Lyle Collins. That was not the best offensive line in football. Let's go ahead and get this stuff straight, because you're getting fed a lot of stuff that aren't exactly right. So, like I was saying before, if you franchise tag him twice, you've already paid him $70 million. In for a penny, in for a pound. If you're going to end up doing that, you might as well put in another year onto that, and you've already got the guaranteed money down. You got him locked up, and if worse comes to worse, hell, you could trade him, as opposed to letting him walk like the Washington Redskins did and getting nothing in return. Because here's what's amazing. You know, the Washington Redskins, right now, they're spending over $30 million on quarterbacks. The Washington Redskins. Why? Because they're drafting guys. They're signing free agent stuff. They get, reach for Alex Smith. Who's got a better quarterback situation? Us? With Dak Prescott? Or the Washington Redskins? It's the cost of doing business. Now get over this whole thing of, oh my God, he's going to get paid. Because every time a quarterback gets money, it's always like, oh my God. We said this with Andrew Luck, who they're talking about now, who's had 7 injuries in 7 years. So now we're hearing about a bone that's messed up someplace, a little small bone, as Irsay says, that's messed up, that's keeping him from practicing. Not a game now, we're talking about practice. Okay? We ended up hearing that about when Matthew Stafford was. We heard that with Jimmy Garoppolo. We heard that with Kirk Cousins. We heard that with Aaron Rodgers. We heard that with Russell. It's just the way it is. Get over it, get used to it, get this thing done sooner than later, because the longer you wait, like I said 6 months ago, the longer you wait, the more it costs. Get it done so we can focus in on making this a great season. I'm Mark Holmes, and I really enjoyed watching it. I'll see you soon.